Hello. Good morning. I just woke up. Well, I woke up like 2 hours ago, but I'm still in the process of waking up. What I want to do today, after fixing my chair, I want to scroll through Twitter. I want to see what's going on, and maybe figure out some stories to cover today. I already have a video planned. I'm not sure when it's going up, but on Mike Revell. So Mike Revell yesterday endorsed Bernie Sanders. I won't talk about it too much here because, as I said, there's a video going up. But I don't know. I kind of just want to chat, see what everyone's up to, see what you guys want to talk about, and I'll take super chats as well. But I'll also try and take some of the other random chats I see in here. But let's start with a little scroll through Twitter because I really have. I've kind of glanced a little bit. Actually, I saved a couple of links that I want to look at, but otherwise, I have no idea. Yeah, my hair's shiny. Logan Cooper. I just took a shower, so it's kind of wet. But I want to see what's going on here. So let's get to my links first, since I did save some stuff. This story is heartbreaking. Let's start the day with a heartbreaking story. This guy, diabetic groom to be, dies after taking cheaper insulin to pay for wedding. This kind of shit is what pisses me off the most. When we have solutions for problems like this, yet society continues to accept these sorts of deaths and do nothing about this rigged system that works against anybody that isn't, in the top 5%. So let's read a little bit more about this. The high price of medicine cost him his life. When Josh Wilkerson turned 26, he aged out of his stepfather's private health insurance, and he was unable to afford his nearly $1,200 a month insulin. That's insane. That for many people, that's rent. He began rationing his pricey prescription brand before a doctor recommended taking Rely On, an over-the-counter brand sold for $25 a vial at Walmart. Didn't work for his body. His mom, Erin Wilson Weaver, tells the Post. Her son died June 14th, and she's still mourning, but determined to advocate in his memory. Known as human insulin, Rely On requires more time to be effective than the analog insulin that Wilkerson had previously been taking, but at 1/10 the price, it was more affordable for the Northern Virginia dog kennel supervisor who was earning $16.50 an hour. So this is a guy earning above minimum wage and still, can't afford insulin because it's so insanely expensive. We figured, hey, it's $25. We can do that, and we'll just work it out, work with it, and try to do the best we can. His fiance tells the Washington Post. Walter's also a type 1 diabetic, began using the cheaper insulin as well last winter. The pair had to switch to over-the-counter brand for the blood glucose meters to keep medical prices within their budget. The couple, among the 30 million residents living with diabetes, planned for a rustic barn house wedding in October and hope to save money for it with the more affordable, if less effective, medication. Okay, I don't want to go through this whole story, but you kind of get the point here. We have solutions to this. We have solutions to this problem. Yet, because of the greed of drug companies, because of the greed of insurance companies, people are dying every day because they can't afford their prescription drugs. They can't afford to see a doctor. Even if they're on insurance, the out-of-pocket expenses prevents them or discourages them from getting help, from seeing their doctor, from maybe preventing problems that will persist and get worse in the future. Just a fucking stupid system. Goddamn. So that's the first story. I'm sorry, starting so negative, but this is just People have to. How many stories do we have to see like this before anything gets done? I mean, this is why I talk about healthcare a lot as a Canadian to Americans, because you need an outside perspective. You need a perspective telling you, "Hey, I'm in a universal system. For the most part, it's great." I mean, obviously, every system's going to have its own issues. No healthcare system is perfect, but compared to the American system, compared to a for-profit based system, it is just infinitely better. There is no debate. The debate is over. Whether you're talking about people dying because they can't afford prescription drugs, whether you're talking about people going bankrupt because they can't afford their health bills, whether you're talking about people staying in the same job because they have great private insurance, so they're afraid to lose their job, but they don't like their job, or maybe they want to start a business. They don't do that because they're afraid because they'll lose health insurance. It's just endless. The benefits to switching to a Medicare for all system is endless. Yeah, this is somehow still a debate. Get the fuck out of here. So tired of this fucking stupid debate. It's such bullshit. We know the answers. We have the answers. Stop with this crap. Let's see what else is going on here. I saved another link. This one. This is a little funnier. A little funnier. This one is actually funny. The founder of Students for Trump pled guilty Tuesday to running a $46,000 scam in which he posed as a lawyer and gave legal advice. The founder of Students for Trump. Yeah, let's read a little bit more about this. I mean, is anybody surprised that a dipshit like this is just as fraudulent as Trump is himself? The founder of Students for Trump pleaded guilty Tuesday to running a $46,000 scam, which he posed as a lawyer and gave legal advice. John Lambert, 23, created a website for a fake law firm, Pope and Dunn, and claimed to be Eric Pope, a graduate of NYU Law School with a finance degree from the University of Pennsylvania, and 15 years of experience in corporate and patent law. 23 years old, 15 years of experience. In brief remarks in a Manhattan federal court, the baby-faced fraudster from Knoxville, Tennessee, said he engaged in the scheme with an accomplice who was not identified. Lambert said they represented themselves as qualified lawyers providing legal services. He ran this for 2 years. Holy crap. What a fucking douche. He will not appeal a sentence that is 21 months or less. And he agreed to forfeit $46,000. Yeah. All right. We get the point. Just so happens the founder of a group for Students for Trump is not a good person. Who would have thought? Who would have thought about that? All right. How's the chat going? What's happening here? I want to give me something to talk about. Oh, there's already a super chat. All right. I got to get these super chat page open. I should probably do this before I start these streams. It's the morning, so what are you going to do? Here, I'll take the one I see here. Spencer Walker 21 says, ever heard of Destiny? You should go on his show. I know Destiny. Here's the thing with Destiny. He doesn't seem like an honest actor to me. He seems like he's here to troll. So there was like a couple months where he was putting out some good stuff. I mean, I only really knew of him this year, actually after Progressive Voice, Sahil, started talking about him. And he had some solid debates with some conservatives. But this past debate, he was just posting absurd shit. I think today, actually, he's going to have a discussion or a debate with Michael Brooks. I'll tune into that, but I have no interest in talking to somebody that I don't think actually believes the shit they're spewing. I think he's here to kind of cause controversy, be talked about. I'm not interested in feeding that. But thank you for the super chat. Let me get to this super chat page. But in between super chats, I will try and take some random chats. while still scrolling through Twitter. What else we got here? Oh, yeah, Warren has a plan for I'll talk about that. Warren has she wants to have a public option for broadband, which I think is a solid idea. We'll look at that in a second. All right, I got my super chat page up. Did you see Bernie Sanders on the Jerry podcast? That from Sugar J Cherry. I did. I watched that last night. I was kind of sad it was only an hour, but it was good. I have to say, the whole time I was watching that, I'm not going to play it. I'll get a copyright strike. The whole time I was watching that discussion between Joe Rogan and Bernie, I was wondering why Bernie was not looking at Joe Rogan. I mean, the whole time, there's almost no eye contact in the entire podcast. It was kind of weird. Maybe Bernie was tired. Maybe he was viewing this as just an audio podcast and wasn't really concerned about, having a conversation with Joe. But I thought it was kind of odd that he was never looking up at Joe Rogan until the end of his questions. But that's a weird, that's just a weird observation. Bernie, basically, they had a conversation about his message, about his platform, about healthcare, about the power of lobbies and money in politics. It was kind of the discussion you would sort of expect them to have. I feel like if it was a longer discussion, they would have gotten to maybe some different areas and maybe explored some new territory. But for the most part, except for the end of it, I guess, spoilers if you're going to watch the discussion between Joe Rogan and Bernie Sanders. Joe asks him about, will you tell us about aliens if you discover anything about aliens? That's kind of the only, I guess, maybe new piece of information that came out of that discussion. But it was good. I enjoyed it. I just wish it was longer. All right, let me look at, I see some more chats coming in. Let me just check Warren's, I didn't read all the way through this, so I want to check it out. Warren's public option for the internet. All right. Let's see if I can make this a little more perfect. All right. All right, so Warren announced a plan Wednesday to create a public option for the internet, aiming to ensure universal broadband access. Warren hopes to first pass a federal law preventing state-level restrictions that have hampered municipalities that want to pursue a public internet system. She would then create an $85 billion federal grant program to shoulder 90% of the cost for utility cooperatives, nonprofits, cities, counties, and Native American tribes interested in laying the fiber needed to bring broadband, contemporary high-speed internet to the most rural regions that do not currently have it. It sounds pretty solid. The entities applying for the money, for-profit utilities, are notably ineligible. Would have to agree to serve as internet service providers for residents they serve. I mean, yeah, if it's a public option, they're not going to be eligible. I like this a lot. 19 million people lack access to broadband in America due to infrastructure deficiencies in their area. I think there's something about Tennessee. I remember doing a story about this maybe like 2 years ago because I'm barely remembering the details. Yeah, Tennessee. So Chattanooga, Tennessee has a public option. The best known example, the publicly owned electric utility for the city of 180,000 used a grant from the 2009 federal stimulus package to help make its electric grid smart or automated. The city then realized that with a relatively simple upgrade, the fiber it laid for the new grid could become the source of hyper-fast broadband access. The new broadband system gives it internet speeds 50 times the U.S. average, making it a magnet for new tech startups. So we're talking about public broadband that is better than what most providers offer. Abdul Al-Sayed also ran on that in his run for governor in Michigan, calling it MiFi. This is great. This is great. I'm curious to see if Bernie will respond to this, if he'll have something to offer here, or just adopt Warren's plan, which seems pretty solid to me. Okay, let's get to. I'll do some more scrolling, maybe find some random stories, but let me get to the chat first. All right, so. Ooh, there's a few. Jen Pepper says, Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, Jen. Thank you for the super chat. Nerbo says, Saskatchewan has public option cheapest in Canada. Coincidence? I don't know anything about that. So, but yeah, I would not be shocked if a public option is the cheapest because they're not looking for profits. I love your show. Keep being you. That's from Westside Beaches. Thank you. Old Gringo, economist Mark Blythe recently stated that Trump is probably going to win a second term, but I don't know why he thinks that. Bernie will be cheated again. It's one guy. People make predictions. I'm not going to put much stake in his prediction here, but look, if Trump will win a second term, if you have a shitty Democratic candidate that doesn't bring out the Democratic base, it's as simple as that. So that's why you got to fight. I mean, right now, you should be informing your friends, family, breaking down for them why you feel, or even, this is the way to do it. Ask people in your life, what are the most important issues that you want a president to deal with? Like top 3 issues. And it's going to be something that affects, in most cases, if you ask people, it's going to be something that Bernie actually addresses, whether it's wages, whether it's the cost of healthcare, whether it's student debt. I mean, ask people in your lives, what do you want a president to help you with? And then sell them on your candidate, who, you know, I would imagine in most cases for people watching this stream is Bernie Sanders. So it's not really, if people just know the details and know who these candidates stand up for, and also people may just say, oh, I just want someone to beat Trump. Okay, well then show them the states that Bernie won in 2016 in the primary, show them his strength against Trump right now in polling in the swing states. Bernie obviously has a message that appeals all across the country. Show them the giant map, the New York Times map. Let's just look at this again, because I'm going to look at this endlessly, because it is the most incredible. How do I find this? New York Times map. It is the most incredible map you've ever seen in your goddamn life. This map right here. Look at this thing. That's Bernie Sanders. This is his reach. This is why he is the best to go up against Donald Trump. And he's, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Bernie's the only one that is also defeating Trump in individual donations as well. So showing you this is someone with real grassroots support that will translate to real votes. And then if you zoom into like DC, if I can get close enough here, you'll see that it's like one of the only parts of the country that are like, you know what? No, we don't support Bernie. We support everybody else. So here you got mostly Buttigieg. Buttigieg, I did a story on this yesterday. Buttigieg has, I think, it's 23 billionaire donors. 23 billionaire donors for the South Bend mayor. If you want to know who is a fraudster right now, who's the ultimate fraudster out of anybody in this race, Buttigieg is solidly in first in that spot. Look, Biden lies all the time. Kamala Harris lies all the time. But Buttigieg is he's walking this fine line. You saw it even in the second debate where he had the opportunity to go after Bernie Sanders, but he didn't, because I think he knows that it wouldn't work out for him to do that. It would anger the Democratic base, a lot of the Democratic base. It's not going to benefit him to attack Bernie Sanders. So he didn't. And this is a guy who's trying to play both sides. So understand here, Buttigieg is not on your side. But neither is Kamala Harris, neither is Biden. Warren, I say, more so is on your side, but not. When we're talking about building a movement, a grassroots movement, just look at the numbers. Bernie almost doubles Warren's numbers. So you got to be aware of that in your analysis when we're discussing people who can beat Trump. Do I think Warren could beat Trump? Probably. But I'm not as sure as I know that Bernie can. So, you got to think about who can appeal to these swing states, these Rust Belt states, who can bring out the base, bring out voters from all walks of life, all across the country. And that is Bernie, who, by the way, has 0 billionaire donors. Back to Twitter, though. Actually, back to the chat. Let's go to the chat. Thomas Horder says, thanks for streaming, David. You're welcome. Thanks for the super chat. Carolyn Johnson with the super chat. I don't see your message, but thank you. Again, I say this all the time. I think if you put links in your super chat, I won't see them. So it'll be just a blank message for me. Just letting you know. Ben McGinnis, super chat. What will be the outcome of the Canadian election? Let's do some searching, shall we? So CBC poll tracker. Let's see where we're at right now in the Canadian election. All right. We're going to end up with a minority. It's going to be a conservative minority or a liberal minority again, okay. The campaigns actually haven't really started yet. But so a lot can change once people begin to pay more attention, maybe pay more attention to the NDP and Jagmeet Singh, who at this point isn't very well known outside of Ontario. So things can change here. But the way it's looking, I think it's very unlikely that the Liberals will retain their majority. It's possible the Conservatives may come out on top in terms of seats, but not be able to form. I don't think they're going to get to a majority, especially if, okay, well, they're not doing really well right now. but the People's Party of Canada, which is a new Conservative party trying to appeal to the more populist Conservative base, or fake populism, whatever, white people, white racists is pretty much what I should be saying here. That's who they're appealing to. They'll potentially shave off some of the conservative votes, especially if Maxime Bernier gets on stage in a debate and there is more attention put on him in this campaign. So if that happens, I think his share of the vote's going to increase, and that will mostly take away from Andrew Scheer's Conservatives. But how much? I mean, I'm thinking at most they get like 5%. I don't know how much more it can really be. I'm expecting a minority government, and in that sense, it's almost better for the left because we would actually have a seat at the table, in the sense that the Liberals would have to be more willing to work with the NDP on policy issues as opposed to just listening to the Conservatives. So, I mean, when you're in a situation where even if you are leading a minority government, you have to work with other parties to get anything done, that benefits the left in the case of a liberal minority. Now, I don't really know where the Greens are going to go here. They're doing a lot better in national polling than the last election, but at the same time, these national polls don't really translate to actual seats. So the Greens right now have 2 seats in Parliament, and it's very possible they'll win a couple more, but how much power are they really going to have? Unless they, win a lot more somehow. And to do that, they'd have to take away from the NDP for the most part. So, yeah, I don't really see it happening. And you saw the recent moves, or at least some of you saw the recent moves where they hired Warren Kinsella, who now no longer works for the Green Party. So Warren Kinsella is he's just like the self-described Prince of Darkness of Canadian politics. He worked with Jean Chrétien, a neoliberal government in the 90s. He donated over $1,000 to Doug Ford in March. Doug Ford, this is after a lot of Doug Ford's move against labor reforms and, freezing the minimum wage. So it was super weird to hire that guy as the Green Party. But they let him go, saying that he finished his work. So they let him go in a way where they're saying, "Oh, he's not fired." The whole point of Warren Kinsella was that he was going to be here for just 2 weeks and then he was going to leave. Really didn't make a lot of sense. I think what actually happened is they got a lot of heat for hiring him, and they found a nice way to let him go. Is kind of what I think happened. But yeah, thanks for the question. Did I read this already? No, I did not. Old Gringo. Bernie 2020 because austerity kills. Yes, it does. Thank you, Old Gringo, for the super chat. The VFX by Art. Mark Blythe is tremendous. I would not ignore him. And yes, corporate Democrats are going to rob Bernie again. Why not just wait till it happens? Why would... People are like, you guys are crazy. Like, you want bad shit to happen. You're just like, oh, he's definitely going to be screwed. Why even bother? If that's how you feel, then why are you in this chat? Why are you engaging in politics? If you just feel like everything's against you all the time and there's no hope, then just go away and, enjoy your life and forget about politics if you don't want to be engaged and actually help change things. I don't get this mentality. Such a weird... I would never be super obsessed with politics or anything if I just thought we're going to be fucked regardless. Then why am I here trying to inform people? Why am I here trying to positively benefit, whether it's the American election, whether it's Canadians, inform people on these issues? I mean, why bother if we're just all going to be screwed all the time? It's such a... don't waste your time then. Don't waste your time. If you're this bothered by... or if you're this obsessed with, all the worst scenarios. Like, that shit doesn't motivate me. I get motivated by positivity. I don't get motivated by people being so fucking negative all the goddamn time. Jordan Susselman, thank you for the Euro super chat. Stark Boss, isn't it convenient that after years and dozens of mass shootings that Obama chooses to come forward now during Biden's campaign? You mean, yeah, so I didn't read Obama's message because honestly, I don't care. I don't care what Obama has to say. He's completely dropped the ball since leaving office. He's been mostly completely disengaged. He abandoned a movement that he helped create in 2008. He abandoned it for the people that supported him financially in that campaign. I couldn't give two shits about what Barack Obama is saying right now. So, I don't know. Old Gringo. David, can you comment about UK PM Boris Johnson? I did a video on him winning. I haven't been paying attention to what's been happening in the UK since he won. So I can't really say much more. I'm not an expert on, UK or British politics. But all I can say is I hope there's a general election in the UK soon so that the people there can actually choose who they want to lead the country. Look, as somebody, again, not totally engaged in UK politics, but Jeremy Corbyn's message, I think, is an attractive message. And he has helped to build a real grassroots movement there. So I think he'd have a solid shot at forming government. But again, it's kind of hard to know, especially the way the media has been against him, the way there's been a lot of misinformation about him and the Labour Party. Always up against these forces. Old Gringo again, very engaged super chatter. Thank you. Joe Biden authored the bill to kill bankruptcy on student loans. I'll never vote for that SOB. Yeah, I don't. I don't blame you. All right. Let's just before I get to more chats here, let me see what else is happening on Twitter. Maybe there's some kind of news story that I'm not all that aware of that we can learn about together. Oh, how shocking. Trump quietly used regulations to expand gun access. Yeah, I don't even want to read more into that. How about a positive story? Is anything good happening today? Nothing with Mitch's face is good, so I'll just skip through that. Nothing with those faces are good. I wish I could play some of the Bernie on Rogan stuff, but this video will be immediately have a copyright strike on it. So I'm touching the mic, wasn't even realizing it. Yeah, so it's really not going to be beneficial. What is going on in the world? How about some clips? What's happening? Can I cut this down by clips? Here's some clips. I don't want to talk about guns. Talked about that already. Andrew Cuomo's whatever. All right, here we go. Ro Khanna. Let's check out what Ro Khanna has to say. He was on Fox News.
Well, one of his main policies has been Medicare for all. How can you justify eliminating the current 180 million people who are currently getting their insurance from the private sector? Because, of course, Medicare for all wipes that out.
Well, his bill actually doesn't do that. It says that you can have private insurance, but it has to be supplemental. So what his bill says is everyone gets basic Medicare. You get basic health care, including dental and vision. It's going to cost you less. If you're not happy with it and you want more, you can still go keep your insurance company. But his bill is basically saying that the government has an obligation to provide people with basic health care. It will reduce premiums and increase benefits. And by the way, President Trump was for it in 2000. He, in his book, The America We Deserve, said that a single-payer system is the best way to get health care to people.
Well, one of his main policies.
Yeah, Maria Bartiromo. What do you say to that? That is Maria, right? I think that's who that is. Just, why is there still a debate about this? Like, I know why there is, because of, the for-profit interest here. But it's just looking at the data. I'm just so tired of pushing the same obvious points over and over again. Why are we still having a debate? Look at other countries. Look outside your own borders. Holy crap. This shows you exactly what America's dealing with right now. Backfiring motorcycles were mistaken for gunshots from an active shooter, causing panic in New York Times Square last night. Look at this.
You're kidding me.
This is from motorcycle.
No way.
Look at this guy. Look at these people. Like, this shows you this is a sickness. This shows you the mental effect that these shootings are having on Americans. Any little, sound that goes off, because, if you don't know what it is, but it's loud and it's a bang, it might be a gunshot because there's so many goddamn shootings. These are issues that I feel like we have all the answers to, but you have lawmakers that don't want to or are unwilling to actually deal with the serious ways to address these problems because of who supports them, who gives them money, and also, honestly, because a lot of their voters. There are a lot of people out there that are single issue voters. Gun voters are single issue voters. If you are pro-gun and you are like completely against any regulation at all for whatever crazy reason, then you're not going to vote for a candidate that is even talking about any form of gun reform or any, background checks or whatever it is. You're not going to vote for that candidate because you are so obsessed with your fucking guns because you're a crazy person. So that's a lot of the conservative base. So it's not even just them, appeasing the NRA or the gun lobby. It's also them trying to appeal to their voters that have psychological issues, just crazy obsessions with killing machines. Like, there's nothing. Why not just have? Fine, you have a right to a gun, but it has to be locked up at a gun range. You want to shoot it, you have to go to the gun range. Your gun's locked up there. You use it there. Like, I get people enjoying that experience. People have weird pastimes. That one, look, I've never shot a gun. I'm sure you feel good when you're shooting a target at a gun range. I'm sure you feel powerful or something. Fine, you have a weird enjoyment with guns. Fine, I have no issue with that. But why does that have to now be? Why does your enjoyment of that gun now have to risk the lives of 300 million people in the country? Why can't you just enjoy your gun in a safe building or in a spot that is designated for that activity, as opposed to it being in your house where your kid can grab it, anyone can grab it, and go on either a mass shooting or kill themselves? I mean, suicide is a whole other issue. There are so many more suicides in America, and it's because of the easy access to a gun. It is so easy to kill yourself with a gun, and it's easy to be in a moment of despair. People have them all the time. People have moments where they feel, just completely depressed, totally shitty. Maybe they lost their job. Maybe they're going through a divorce, whatever it is. They'll have a moment of weakness and they'll kill themselves. Whereas if they didn't have that gun, didn't have access to that gun, it wouldn't be as easy for them to commit that act as it is when they have the gun. Just, again, whether it's healthcare, whether it's gun reform, a lot of this shit to me is just so fucking obvious. But we have to deal with these assholes in power. All right, let me look back to the super chats. This is really supposed to be I'm supposed to be going through Twitter and looking for ideas for future videos, but I don't know. There's not too much going on, or really, there actually is a lot going on. It's just I need to process all of it. From Tyler, sorry, I think I missed one. Shane Rumlal. We have an army. We will win. Bernie 2020. Thank you, Shane, for the super chat. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Bernie's grassroots base is solid, and that will lead him to victory. Tyler Cuss, thoughts on the divide in the progressive base? Who? What divide? What are you talking about? Like, there are people out there. I'm not going to name names because that's what they want. Let's just be honest here. There are people out there that just want to be talked about. So I'm not going to talk about them. But there are people out there that are not progressives or don't really give a shit about these issues, but they're narcissists. They just care about their own fame. They care about getting the name out there. So when you talk about a divide in the progressive base, if you're talking about a divide from people who I don't think you should be listening to, who I don't think are worth watching, to me, that isn't a divide in the progressive base. So I'm not really sure. Like, I hate when people say that shit. There are YouTubers out there that have not a lot of subscribers, but I think you should be listening to them. They should grow, and I retweet their stuff. I have them on my show, like Christo Avalis, fantastic YouTuber. I think he's at maybe 2,000, 3,000 subs. He's somebody I pay attention to. He's somebody I think you should pay attention to, so I talk about them. But there are people out there that are just shit disturbers, that are complete phonies, and you should not be listening to these assholes. And these are not people, I would not call them part of the progressive base on YouTube. They are fucking frauds. There's at least a couple of them. So, yeah. Old Sea Dog 91. To be fair, Richard Branson invited him onto his yacht, so what was Obama really supposed to do? Yeah. I mean, that's Obama's world. Just he's part of the, he's part of the elite. That's his world. He may have been, at least rhetorically, somewhat a progressive champion when he ran in 2007, 2008. But ultimately, he abandoned the movement that he helped grow in 2008, and he became officially a part of the elite in the country, and never really took these issues head on. The VFX by Art says, I'm spending another $10 on your chat. Whoa. Thank you for the super chat. Also, Old Sea Dog, thank you for your big super chat as well. VFX by Art. I'm spending another $10 on your chat to elaborate. It's not been negative. It's how they stole the election from Bernie in 2016. Hence why Bernie's movement is more important than Bernie. Yeah, totally. I completely agree with that. But I'm just saying, don't be super negative about what you think the result's going to be. Just help to build the movement, be engaged, inform others. Try and, if negativity empowers you, and it does for some people, so maybe it does for you, then sure, go at it. It doesn't empower me. But I do think, even if Bernie loses, the movement is going to still exist. And it's going to be, progressives are going to have a say regardless of who wins the next election. Lefties, progressives, whatever, that whole entire spectrum, they're going to have more of a say because Bernie has a seriously active movement that will stay engaged, and they care about these issues. And Bernie, I think himself, will help to continue to engage that audience, even if he doesn't win. But again, I don't want to get down this night. I actually do think Bernie will win. I do think that. So I don't want to get down this negative path of, oh, what if he doesn't? Old Gringo again. Bernie, people, if Bernie gets cheated, write him in. Sure. Let's talk about that when we pass that. Justin Perry. Imagine how tired Bernie is after 50 years of pushing. You're totally right. I mean, I'm tired. I've been doing this on YouTube for 3.5 years. And it's not that I'm tired about talking about these issues. I'm just tired that it feels like we have to have the same debate over again when I feel like the debate's been had. It's over. If I have one complaint about debates in general, that's the problem. When a debate is over, we don't crown, the winning argument and just say, that argument is now solid. You can try, if you're going to argue it, then you have to use new points, use a new perspective. But no, we have to have the same fucking debate where we already won the argument, but you have to have the same debate with the same counterpoints that we've already defeated over and over and over again until you have some new fucking points to push back against, whether it's Medicare for all, whether it's canceling student debt, whatever it is, until you have actually some new arguments. Shut the fuck up, because the debate is over. And you can't have a new argument against Medicare for all or universal health care. You look at every other industrialized nation. They have a universal healthcare system. They don't have a for-profit based system like America does. That should be the end of the discussion. It's already been done in all these other countries, and it works perfectly fine. It works better than the American system does, obviously, because you take out the for-profit motive. How healthcare being for-profit is a point that anybody can sell you as a good thing. There's no argument for it. Zero argument for it. Unless you really don't give a shit about human life, there is no argument for it. Old Gringo. Bernie has lots of energy left in him. Yes, he does. Old Gringo, thank you again for your constant engagement here. Okay. Sorry. Still waking up. I already had my coffee, but almost like I need another one. I see a message here from a member. Actually, I've seen a few members in the chat. This one from Vertas, a.k.a. Koru, says the young voters will rise up and Bernie is going to win. I agree with you. And to help do that, if you are a young voter yourself, maybe in your teens, maybe in your 20s, maybe in your 30s, make sure the people in your life not only are aware of, the candidates and the issues, but that they're registered. Look up your state, look up when you have to register by, look up all that crap, ensure that these people in your life are ready to vote come election day or come primary voting day. So you get the support that you need in order for Bernie to win. All right. Let me check more super chats here. Kenyan Scales. Sorry. Do you think Tulsi Gabbard will make the third debates? Do you think Bernie would pick her up as VP? Hashtag Tulsi 2020. I want to show you something. So first of all, to answer your question, I think there's actually a good chance she'll make the debate. But I want to show you a video that I saw yesterday and was disturbed by. Give me a minute here to hunt this thing down. Like I'll just say I think Elizabeth Warren is a much better VP potential than Tulsi Gabbard is. I don't really get this obsession. Oh, here we go. That's why I wasn't seeing it. Okay. Let's watch this together, shall we?
In this country. I also believe, like every other developed country in the world that has universal health care, that there is a role for private insurance to play for those who want it.
Do you think for those who are embracing taking away private insurance from people, ultimately, is that just strategically, politically, a non-starter?
I don't know about the politics of it. I just think about it from the perspective of people, of the American people. That if all of a sudden you are taking away their choice, that's not a very American thing, in my opinion. I think our responsibility as leaders is to meet the challenge and address the problems that people are facing, that they are suffering because of big insurance and big pharma's influence over our healthcare system for so long, how they are profiting on the backs of sick people. So let's do our job, try to bring down the cost of healthcare in this country that's exorbitant, make sure people can get the quality care they need, and if they still choose that that's not what they want, they can go get the private insurance.
I asked Kamala.
There you go. Tulsi Gabbard is worried about taking away people's choice in healthcare. She says if they don't like, the option that they have from the public, well, they'll have the private there. What she's saying is she wants a public option. This is not Medicare for all. Medicare for all makes duplicate insurance illegal. So private insurance companies can't duplicate what a Medicare for all system would offer. But she is advocating for a public option. Understand, this is somebody who I loved her attack on Kamala Harris. It actually appears that she made a dent on Kamala Harris's numbers. Kamala Harris's poll numbers have gone down since that debate. She did a fantastic job there. But she's been she defended Joe Biden on Twitter multiple times. She didn't go after Joe Biden at all on the debate stage. I mean, how you could not, I totally get it going after Kamala Harris, 100%. But to not go after Joe Biden as well? Are you kidding me? So she's playing games here. I think she's angling for Biden's VP. This is somebody who voted for the anti-BDS bill, appears to not support Medicare for all anymore, at least in what she's saying right here. She's afraid of Americans not having choice. I'm sorry, this is not somebody I support for president. But let me get back to super chats or the chat. What do you in the chat think about that, huh? I want to see what the responses are here. Because how do you defend this? Yeah, I don't see anyone trying to defend this because I don't know how you could. Like, Stormy Renner says Tulsi has a billionaire donor as well. She does. I will say that with Jack Dorsey, the Twitter dude, he also is a donor to Andrew Yang. I think that actually kind of just stems from the fact that both of these candidates were on Joe Rogan's show. I really think it's that because Jack was on that show. Tulsi was, Yang was. I wouldn't put too much, emphasis on that Tulsi has a billionaire donor. It's Jack from Twitter. Yeah. I think he just supported them because he saw them on Joe Rogan's show. I don't think there's much more to it. But I just don't like what Tulsi's been saying recently. No, she's not saying you can buy supplemental. It's not just supplemental. She's saying she's afraid of taking away Americans' choice. She's saying that it's un-American to take away their choice. Choice in what? Choice would only come into play if you have to choose between private insurance and the public option. And she says at the end there, again, if people don't like what we're offering as the public, then they can be on private insurance. That is exactly what she's saying, guys. Listen.
How they are profiting on the backs of sick people. So let's do our job, try to bring down the cost of healthcare in this country that's exorbitant, make sure people can get the quality care they need. And if they still choose that that's not what they want, they can go get the private insurance.
I asked Kamala.
There, look. If they choose that's not what they want, they can still get private insurance. That's a public option. That's what she's talking about. So just understand, if you're a huge Tulsi supporter, she does not support Medicare for all. She supports a public option. Like, how many hints does Tulsi have to give you? Whether it's defending Joe Biden, whether it's voting on that anti-BDS bill, whether it's this, whether it's being open to torture back in 2014. I mean, go down the list. This is not somebody that is, I would call progressive. She rides the line. She'll be great on some issues, weird positions on other issues, weird strategic positions like go after Kamala, but don't go after Biden. Actually defend Biden against Kamala. So yeah, if you support that, cool. I don't support that. That's not me. Good. That's what I wanted to see. Someone said, you are right. That's all I wanted to hear. No, but like, it's obvious. Just think for yourselves. Don't believe me. Look at her own words. I'm not doing the convincing here. Tulsi Gabbard herself is doing the convincing, telling us what she believes. All right. More super chats. Jesus Zamora. Thank you for the super chat. Medicare for all with a simple majority is the way forward. Justin Caldwell. These polls are inaccurate and biased. They don't fairly sample young/online voters. When the primaries come, Bernie will win. I do actually. Yeah, I think that's true. I don't have access to it now, but there's a poll in that I showed last time that it separated the polling based on landline polling and cell phone polling, and it was night and day. In landline, it was like 46% supported Joe Biden, and then like Bernie was like 20% in second. And then you go to cell phone polling, and it's the complete reverse. You have Biden on top with by far the most, and then everybody else. It's these polls, again, if young people come out to vote, these polls will not mean all that much. A lot of this polling, they poll people who are registered, who are engaged voters. Again, that isn't all these polls. Usually, like better polls will try to get a larger sample of people who are maybe less engaged, but will still go out to vote. But I do think these polls largely undersample young kids. How many people answer their phone? I don't answer my phone. So if I don't answer my phone and I'm not, in my early 20s, I don't think there's a lot of people that answer their phone from a number that they don't know. And that's a lot of the polling here. So just, yeah. Voter turnout means everything in these primaries. Tyler Cuss, France, Germany, and UK have multi-payer systems where both private and public options exist and rank ahead of the US in healthcare. I have to look deeper into the systems. Yeah, I don't know their systems exactly. But in the Canadian system, it's illegal to duplicate insurance. The Medicare for All essentially is like how the Canadian system works. It's a single-payer system. It wouldn't allow private insurance to duplicate what is offered under Medicare for All. You still have supplemental choice. I mean, for, I guess, things if you want like a private hospital bed, stuff like that will be offered. But, I mean, the reason you do that is you put everybody on the same plan. The entire country, you have the full choice of doctor because everybody's on the same plan. It brings the cost down across the board. The only people that are paying more under a Medicare for All system are the wealthiest people. People that have millions of dollars are going to be paying more through their taxes for healthcare than they currently pay to a private insurer. Everybody else is paying less. That's how these systems work. That's how these systems should work. So, and the other benefit of that is you have the wealthy, people in Congress, the average person, all on the same plan. So if there's any issues with the healthcare system, they are more likely to address them because wealthy people and people in Congress have to use the same healthcare that everybody else does. There are just endless benefits to a system like this. Karen Sheets says, saying truth to power is hard because we have to use flashcards. Wait, what? You mean speaking truth to power is hard because we have to use flashcards? You mean because they're so old? I don't really get what I'm laughing, but I don't really get what you're saying. But thank you for the super chat. Oh, welcome new member, Old Gringo, and welcome new member, Karen Sheets. There might even be more, but because the YouTube chat doesn't work properly, I don't always see who they are. But thank you for becoming a member. Actually, let me see if there are other ones that came in today. So yeah, if you want to join the chat, not join the chat. If you want to join the channel, there are multiple ways. So patreon.com/therationalnational, or even easier, therationalnational.com/join. There's the join button on YouTube, as some of these people have joined. We also have Christian Kudos, also joined, I believe, today. So thank you, Christian. And you can also support me. All these links are below this video on PayPal. You can send a one-time donation through that as well. Because, yeah, my first 3 videos this week, because they were about the shooting and white nationalism, all demonetized because we can't talk about these issues. Even if we're being positive and informative, YouTube advertisers are scared, I guess. And the appeal process isn't all that solid. It's definitely not consistent. One of my videos, to my surprise, actually got remonetized on the mass shootings. Another one wasn't. The one about Beto swearing, that stayed demonetized after review, weirdly enough. So none of it makes sense. So we have to rely on member support to continue doing this kind of work. New super chat. The VFX by Art, again, thank you for the super chat, says, quote, no capitalist should be near a healthcare system. Chris Hedges quote. Totally. Completely agree. Let me get back to some Twitter here. See what else is happening here. Lula. What's Lula saying? Let's look at the translation here. Quote, Lula should not even be imprisoned anywhere because he is innocent and was convicted in a judicial farce. Yup. So, Michael Brooks, I have to say, has been doing fantastic coverage of what's been happening in Brazil and Lula. Check out his coverage of that. He goes deep on that stuff. It's important to know because it gives you knowledge for if you have a Bernie Sanders presidency, the potential of what they may do to somebody in that position who is actually trying to lift up people out of poverty, who is a worker-backed movement like Bernie has, what the other forces, the powerful, moneyed forces around him, may try to do. So I think it's important to have that perspective. Just looking for some more here. Let's look for some more. Or this is good. Poll: Bernie Sanders gains, Biden falls, closing the gap one voter at a time. Look at that. How did Biden gain after that debate? There's just no logic to any of this. So even though Bernie gained a lot, Bernie by far, out of anybody here, gained the most. But Joe Biden still gained. Are we watching the same debates? Who are these people? Like, it's just so crazy. I think a lot of that is because Biden got so thoroughly attacked in that second debate that I bet a lot of people felt sorry for him. And then, like, oh, Biden isn't that bad. Why are they attacking him so much? It didn't help the fact that the media the next day, I didn't even know this was a story till like 3 days later. I saw one tweet about this. The media apparently thought that the whole night was about attacking Barack Obama. That never even crossed my mind at all. All that was being spoken about on that stage in that debate was the facts about the Obama administration and Joe Biden. That's it. The whole point of a primary is to look at these people's records and understand who is actually a leader here, who is going to fight for you and who isn't. That's what the point of bringing that up was. I'd never even thought this was about, oh, people are going after Barack Obama. Didn't cross my mind at all. And then I saw MSNBC, CNN, all talking about, do you think it was right that all the Democrats were going after Barack Obama? Are you fucking kidding me? The media is such fucking garbage. And I'm sorry for my language. I know some people don't care for bad words, but it's unbelievable the amount of misinformation that comes out of these outlets. Let's go a little closer here, see if we can get anything else from this. All right, so Bernie went from 16.4 to 18.4. Biden barely moved, but he went from 22.1 to 22.4. Warren went down, which honestly kind of surprises me. I thought she did fairly well in that debate. Kamala Harris, massive drop. That's what I like to see. I mean, out of anybody here, I got to say, I kind of predicted this. If you watch my preview of the second debate before it happened, I said there's no way Kamala Harris is going to be able to match up to her first performance. She can't attack Biden the same way she did last time. And she wasn't able to. And she got attacked herself, mostly by Tulsi Gabbard. And there you go, that massive drop. Tulsi Gabbard gained considerably. From 0.2 to 0.9. But in her case, that is considerably. Who else grew here? Cory Booker. Yeah, Cory Booker had a solid night too. Again, I don't support Cory Booker, but if you're just looking at rhetoric and performance, Booker did well. Buttigieg, again, this guy is totally propped up by billionaires, by lobbyists, by special interest donors. He raised the most money out of anybody in the race in the second quarter, yet he's only polling around 3%. Like that should be the end of the discussion for a lot of these candidates. If you just put that stat out there on CNN, Buttigieg raised by far the most money from big donors, from his private fundraisers with these whether CEOs or these corporate interests, and he's only polling at 3%. Isn't that kind of weird how he's completely propped up by special interest money while polling at 3%? This guy has no actual movement on the ground, no actual real support on the ground. He is simply propped up by big donors. That should be the end of his campaign. That should be the line everybody's talking about in the mainstream press if they were actually honest about this race, but they're not, because they themselves are one of these big donors. So it's not going to play well for them in terms of the management of these companies. But yeah, I think this is going to continue here. At least I hope it will. All right. I'm probably going to get off soon because I got to actually get to work. This is just the morning scroll Just morning scroll through Twitter. But let me get to some polling. I don't want to watch this. I feel like anything Fox does, it's going to put me into a bad mood. Anything Andrew Scheer put me into a bad mood. I'll look at this stuff later. Though I'm really curious now. No, I'm not going to. Okay. Let's get to some. Let me get back here. Let's get back to normal. Back to normal size. All right, let me get the last bit of super chats, and I got to actually get to my own work here. Though this is work. I'm working right now, talking with the audience, covering news. That's what I'm doing. All right, I think there's one more here. Kenyon Scales again. Thank you for the super chat. If Tulsi was VP, sorry, did I miss something? I did miss something. Old Gringo. Tulsi Gabbard is horrible on economics, and I think David is 100% correct on his analysis, angling for VP, playing games. Thank you for the super chat, Old Gringo. Kenyon Scale says Bernie/Warren would lose to Trump, too extreme. A Bernie-Tulsi ticket would win and bring in moderate You have to get the base. You're not going to win Trump voters over regardless. No, you are wrong. You are not. Don't try to appeal to Republicans. That is a fucking dumbass strategy. That is a losing strategy. That's what Hillary Clinton did. Are you actually arguing for this? Are you that fucking dumb? Sorry, super chat. Are you that dumb? That is not what you do. You do not appeal to moderate voters. You do not appeal to Republicans. They're going to vote for Trump. You have to support bold policy ideas. I mean, the idea that, I wouldn't vote for Bernie, but he has Tulsi Gabbard, so I'm going to vote for. That is absurd. That is not reality. Holy crap. Can we get out of these loser ways of thinking? I read the VFX by Art one, but thank you for the super chat. I don't mean to be mean. I just get angry at these arguments that are they have no basis in reality whatsoever. Kenyon Scales again. Thank you for your support. Again, I'm sorry for being mean. If Tulsi was VP, she would support the healthcare reform of who picked her. Bernie. Well, yeah, of course she would. She'd have to. Bernie, who she supported from the very beginning. Warren is shifty backstabber. Warren is not a shifty backstabber. Like what? You mean because of 2016? Warren miscalculated. Warren is bad at politics. That's what Elizabeth Warren is. Warren, her heart is in the right place. She has the right policies. She has the right. She's saying the right things now. She has learned, I think, for the most part. Back in 2016, she miscalculated. She thought Bernie's a good challenge, but there's no way that Bernie can defeat Hillary Clinton. So she's going to hold out because she knows that she supports Bernie over Hillary, but she can't say that if she thinks that she has the potential. Warren thinks that she has the potential to potentially influence a Hillary Clinton presidency. That's why she backed out. Or not backed out. That's why she stayed silent that entire time. She thought, hey, it's better, if Hillary wins, because everyone was assuming she was going to win, it's better if Hillary has a progressive voice in her ear than if she doesn't. That's the game that Warren played, and she lost. To be fair to Warren, a lot of people thought Hillary was definitely going to pick this up, and she didn't. So Warren made a mistake, and I think she's not my first choice. I don't think she is the best in terms of building a grassroots movement. Obviously, Bernie has that. But Warren has almost the exact same message as Bernie Sanders does right now, saying the same things on healthcare. Warren has moved to Medicare for all now and is solid on Medicare for all. So understand here, Warren is, and I think there's a fair argument to say Warren is better used outside of the VP spot and as something else in the administration. That's a solid argument there. But I think Warren should get the first choice. If she wants the VP spot, then it's hers. I don't think it makes sense to call her a shifty backstabber is just weird. Like, are you paying attention? How do you not acknowledge all the mistakes Tulsi Gabbard has done, yet call Warren a shifty backstabber? Are you serious? But again, thank you for the super chat. I don't mean to be mean. It's just these arguments that I hear constantly. And when I hear them repeated by my own audience, it's disturbing to me. All right. Let me see if there's any more. Why is my shit not refreshing properly? Someone said, "Oh snap, you are fed up." That's from Lila Oliva. Yeah. I'm kind of fed up. It's also just the morning. I need another coffee. I'm just not It's just these same arguments you hear over and over again. Like, how many videos do I got to play of Tulsi Gabbard saying things that aren't progressive? I mean, I could have done a video on that. I could do a whole video showing people that Tulsi Gabbard clip. I haven't because I don't think Tulsi Gabbard is ultimately that important in this race. She's polling at like 1%. I'm not really worried about Tulsi Gabbard. If you support her. There's no reason for me to anger that base. But if we're going to talk about her, I'm going to be honest. And, you know, if we're being honest, it's not too hard to see what she's saying. All right. Good point, old gringo. Claire McCaskill appealed to trumpets in Missouri and lost. Yeah, anytime I see Claire McCaskill on MSNBC, I lose my shit. If you want to see me actually angry, play a Claire McCaskill clip in front of me, and I will start screaming. How somebody loses an election and then is hired to go on television to inform other people, to inform other Democrats about how to win. How do you justify that hire? You hire losers in the Democratic Party and then seek their advice for Democrats. I mean, if you want to talk about a rigged media system, that is a system designed to ensure that Democrats lose. To have people that are this fucking stupid on television that lost their race with their strategy and then use their losing strategy to try and inform other people on how to win. It's a parody of itself. It's completely absurd. All right. It's almost 12. Got to get to work. Let me just refresh, make sure I got all the stuff. Kenyon Scales. Again. Thank you again for your super chat. Moderate Republicans don't like Trump. Trump ran to the left of HRC. Have you seen what moderate Republicans are saying about Tulsi Gabbard? I mean, a lot of them don't like her. The idea that moderate Republicans, let's forget that. Let's say they do love her. Moderate Republicans love Tulsi Gabbard. Do those same ones also like Bernie Sanders? Are they going to vote for Bernie Sanders because Tulsi Gabbard is the VP? And Tulsi Gabbard now is saying all the same things that Bernie Sanders is saying because, of course, as you said yourself, she would take on his platform. How is that appealing to Republicans? It's not going to work. You don't appeal to Republicans. The Republican base is tiny. They only win elections if you don't excite the base out to vote. Again, I don't think Tulsi is the worst choice for VP, but you have better choices out there. So why are we playing games here? You have to appeal to a base of Democrats, and not even a base of Democrats, a base of non-voters, people that don't normally vote. You have to appeal to those voters with a bold message. So you're stepping on your own argument when you first say that, well, Tulsi will obviously, support Bernie's platform, but then you're saying that she'll appeal to Republicans. You got to square that circle. You're not doing a good job of it. But thank you for the super chat. I always feel weird disagreeing with super chat people, but you know what? I'm going to be honest here. You can give me money and support me, and I love you for it, but you're not going to sway my opinions on these things. Or not even opinions, my opinions that are based on facts. You're not going to sway me on this. Scary Cactus, I love your name and your avatar. Thank you for the super chat. Says, I honestly believe Warren is an establishment plant to split the progressive vote. I don't think she is, but I think she is doing that. She is splitting the vote for sure. But again, actually, let's dispel something here. Let me find it over here first. Here we go. Let's check this out. Elizabeth Warren. Oh, wait. I'm not up here. Here we go. Elizabeth Warren. Most of her supporters would go to Harris. So she's actually taking away from Harris more than she is from Bernie Sanders. That's according to polls. Again, a lot of this stuff will not make sense to people that follow their platforms and their ideology because this isn't based on ideology. A lot of voters don't know these candidates very well, or maybe don't even care about their platforms, but they like these people as people. Like, oh, I like Joe Biden because he seems like a working class dude. And guess what? Joe Biden said most of his supporters, their second choice is Bernie Sanders. So this is why Biden polls so high. He has a lot of support from people who just aren't paying attention. People who think Joe Biden is a working class dude, because that's the veneer he's given himself for years, even though he's completely not. And these people would go to Bernie Sanders, the majority of them, or at least most of them in here. And Bernie's second. Biden, most of Bernie's support would go to Biden. A lot of this stuff doesn't make sense because it's based on name recognition and likability. That's a lot of what this is. So understand here, yeah, Warren is taking away from Bernie, but not as much as she's taking away from Kamala Harris. So in some ways, you could even say it's a benefit that Warren's in the race because she's preventing the rise of Kamala Harris. So there are many ways to look at this. All right. Let me finish up here. Oh, more is coming in. Paul J.M., are you really going to work? Are you going to watch MR Live? No. Yeah, I should say, hey, if you want to watch Majority Report, they're going to be live at 12. But no, actually, I'll probably eat lunch, and then I'll go to work. Though this is really work. Kind of. I got some ideas for some videos. Dizzy FPV. How can us overseas community donate to Bernie? You can't. That would be interfering in the election. So you can't financially support Bernie Sanders if you're not an American. I think if you're an American overseas, you can. You just have to, I'm not sure how that works, but since you can vote from overseas, I don't know why you wouldn't be able to donate from overseas. But if you're not American, you can't donate. All right. Just about done here. Okay, I think that's the last of the super chats, unless something comes in late. ZJ Charles Marcel. This is not a super chat, but it's an interesting question. Can you speak about / contrast Bernie's and Andrew Yang, I assume you mean, interviews on Joe Rogan? Yeah. Did I watch? I don't think I watched Andrew Yang's interview. I think I saw clips of it. I don't think I watched the full thing. I don't really see a point to that, to be honest. I don't think Andrew Yang is someone that really deserves a lot of my attention. I do maybe 2 videos a day. So I got to kind of pinpoint what I want to focus on. Andrew Yang, I don't think he's a great candidate. So I don't want to waste too much time on him. But that said, I do like that Andrew Yang is at least like a genuine person. I don't think he's a phony. I don't think he's pretending to be something he's not. He's just somebody I don't like how his UBI is structured. I mean, you can't set up a system that incentivizes private interests or incentivizes conservatives to continue to dismantle the welfare state. And I think that's what Andrew Yang's UBI encourages. Veritas, a.k.a. Koru, says, you were doing a great service, David. Thank you. All right. Getting it off. Yeah. I'm enjoying this, though. Someone says, Melissa says, Bernie was awesome on Joe Rogan. I think he did well. Again, I would have liked a longer discussion. It was only an hour. It was kind of going over the same issues he always talks about, so there wasn't really much to take out of it. But I do like that he is there speaking to Joe Rogan's audience, which I imagine is largely conservative or maybe apolitical. So I do like that Bernie's on there getting his message out to a different group of people. But I think if anything, almost Cornel West, his appearance was almost more important on Joe Rogan than Bernie's was. Cornel West had a nice long interview with Joe Rogan. Check that out if you haven't seen it. Fantastic discussion. They discuss so many issues, and Cornel West, I think, is maybe the most important public intellectual that Americans have right now. All right. Let's get off this. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining, for watching, for supporting, and watch the channel later for some videos going up. All right. Bye.